That's gonna be way too long.
Hey guys, welcome to our fourth attempt at rebranding.
Yes.
So, welcome to a newly formed Awdcast, spelled AWD, because we thought we were very cool with our naming convention. Do you want to explain why we? I think you were the one that came up with the actual name first.
Really? Okay, so it's Awdcast. It's spelled like awkward. So AWD cast and podcast.
There we go.
So meaning awkward plus odd plus podcast. Awdcast.
Dang, there we go. There we go.
Amazing.
So welcome to for this episode. So this episode, or our podcast, is just us talking about random topics that you guys suggest, and also just some random thoughts that we have. And we just want to share. So my name's Tim. You guys want to introduce yourselves, the boys?
I am Felix.
I am Vincent.
I am Pablo.
Or I am Pablo.
I'm Pablo.
Welcome to the boys. Forced Felix to talk because he didn't talk much last week.
Yeah. To give some context, we actually wanted Felix to intro for once, and we spent 5 minutes, 10 minutes tring to actually intro it, but we just decided
we can put it in the clip somewhere.
Yeah, we'll put it probably put it in the middle, or not the middle.
Put it in the middle.
Just random cut.
I don't know. Put it in the middle.
It's like when the camera dies.
When the camera dies, you go. Let me show it.
Minutes 50 seconds. Just
they'll probably go into it in the intro, but
right.
So today we'll be talking about what was it? Another. Yeah, another viewer.
Adulthood?
What's the expectation?
Oh, it's basically it's like adulthood struggles and benefits.
Yeah.
But we can talk about some other stuff.
Shout out to
Ray
the winner.
Shao.
The winner.
Ray Chow, he's getting a $10 Venmo.
$10 again.
Nah, I don't think- Hey, what? I didn't say that. What the?
Oh my gosh.
Bro.
Yeah.
They don't get $10 if they put the suggestion. It's the most interesting ones, bro.
What was the other suggestions?
It was nostalgia.
Nostalgia?
Childhood
Yeah.
stories from childhood.
we have-
Yeah, I don't want to talk about my childhood in Asia.
We're going to talk about another time, right?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
We can't talk about it another time. Was there any other suggestions?
Oh yeah, Pablo's one.
Your mom?
Your mom.
Is your mom still
No.
there?
Your mom?
But yeah.
But yeah.
Bro.
So I think we're gonna stick to one topic
One topic per episode,
per
yeah.
episode, because we went pretty long for the last
It's
one.
only
one.
like an hour, though.
But
Yeah.
everyone's got interesting stories, you know.
Yeah.
So.
And your
Oh,
K-pop
my
story
K-pop
has
thing
been a
popped
hit.
up pretty well.
Yeah.
apparently.
Yeah.
Boom.
Have they found you again? The
Have-
JYP
yeah.
Entertainment?
Oh, bro, yeah.
Like
Enough
twice?
exposure.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
Sure.
good. Jungkook.
Yeah, Joe Gook.
Oh, no.
We're
No,
best
we're bringing that
friends.
back.
Okay.
We're best friends.
Oh, no,
now,
we're back.
You know, me and JK.
We're back.
Woo.
But yeah. So let's get, I guess, around again how we did it before. We just went around the
Yeah.
around the table.
Around the table.
So
Yeah.
adulthood, we're
And
still
well-
really new to this.
Yeah, we're still really new to this. Why don't we start again with the person who's actually at the precipice of being an adult? Because the three of us have graduated.
Oh yeah.
But we have a young boy here, Felix.
Being
That
an adult is subjective.
In the transition phase.
it's a
Being an adult is subjective.
flashback to the last episode's failure is subjective.
Oh my gosh. Felix,
Why
what
is
do you mean
that
by
funny,
subjective?
though? Why
What
is
do you
that
mean
funny?
by subjective?
Okay, so I reckon that just being in work isn't necessarily being an adult, is it?
Okay, yeah, I agree with that.
And there's a lot of people who tend to call others like adult children.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Okay.
the
Man
type
child.
where it's just like kind of,
Yeah.
where it's like they're like at the age where you would expect someone to be like an adult, right?
Mm.
But they're just like, in their mother's basement, leeching off their parents' income and like drinking
Yeah.
Fanta and Mountain Dew and eating Doritos. Just permanently. They don't have their own job. They
The needs.
immature and whatnot. Whatever.
needs.
I mean,
The
sure.
hikikomoris.
The hikikomori.
What would you classify as an adult then?
I feel like it comes down to maturity more so, but that also is subjective.
What is maturity for you, though? What is maturity for you, though?
We live in a
In a world where everything's
everything's
subjective. There's no black and white these days.
I
bro.
mean, there's some objectivity to maturity,
Yeah.
but like obviously, like people would have different views on what like maturity is.
Yeah. What's maturity to you?
Having a beard. Nah.
Wow, well, that's
And
facial hair.
Can any of us
Facial
grow?
hair?
Can any of us grow a beard? I don't think so.
Yeah, like
I
the
don't think
closest.
I mean, don't they have those oil thingies that you apply and then it helps
They grow.
accelerate your?
It's like watering your
Growth.
beard. It's like watering.
Yeah,
your
yeah,
crop.
No, it's
basically.
only if you have facial hair.
Uh,
So
It
it's-
accelerates it.
It accelerates.
Yeah.
It's
it.
not because you don't have any and you use it, you're gonna grow magically.
I'd
okay,
rather
okay.
not have facial hair.
Yeah.
Oh,
And,
okay,
I- and I
honestly.
mean, I don't actually think that
Asians
you need
can't
a
pull off
need
facial hair.
Whoa, have
hair
you
to
seen
be
Japanese
mature.
people? Like Japanese people pull it off
certain,
really well.
I think certain
they're
facial
adults.
structures
Yeah,
in
it depends.
like because like what was it, Sawada? What was it? Hiroki
Is this-
Sawada?
Hiroki Sawada.
Sawada.
Yeah,
yeah.
like he can pull off a really
Who's this?
bountiful
Oh,
beard.
he's
It's an
the
act-
guy
a
from
Japanese
Mortal
actor.
Kombat.
But it was like like that guy. But
Yeah.
then if you go like Rich Brian, can Rich Brian pull off a beard? Do you think,
Nah.
or just like because
Have a beard on a baby face.
Yeah, I think
That's
this
weird.
is like because this baby face. I think that's like mostly like the facial
Okay.
structure of Asian people as well.
Right.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
so you classify maturity as having facial hair?
No,
No,
I don't
okay.
actually. That's stupid.
Oh damn! You must be immature then.
I
Sorry,
think, I think
guys.
mature people should have facial hair. No, I actually don't know what I would formulate as a mature person. I think I need to think about it.
Yeah.
Do you guys have?
Not because for me, when someone's mature,
Yeah.
I know that they take responsibility for everything.
Yeah.
You know, they take
Definitely.
responsibility for
Yeah.
their actions.
Yeah.
They take responsibility for like their career, their family life, and their just like social life. Just
Yeah.
like everything encompassing like
Mm.
all aspects of
That's
their life.
true.
You know,
So you would think that's an adult.
I would think that's
Yeah,
highly
yeah,
an adult.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
You know,
okay.
like
Taking
even if it's
responsibility.
like someone who's 18 and they start taking
I
care of
reckon
those
that's
things.
actually one of the biggest points because I think that leads on to other aspects which people would consider to be like adult things, I guess. Because for example, if someone was to take like responsibility for, I don't know, like their family, their you know, I kind of like the commitments they have in their life. Obviously, they'd probably have like a job. They'd probably, you know, not be stupid with the way that they spend their money or whatnot. And they'd be like, I don't know, I'd say like emotionally mature. They'd manage
Yeah.
themselves well,
Mm.
that type of thing. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I guess going from that, what would you say then? Because the topic is about childhood. Was it
Adulthood.
No,
adult-
adulthood, adulthood.
or like the
Mm.
transition between that? And I guess you are, in a sense, you know, at a stage where you are transitioning
Yeah.
from
Technically.
because you're like in your couple a couple last years of study or
Yeah.
just you're heading towards there.
Yeah.
And so like what have you kind of already saw some struggles that you're kind of like, oh man, like it's about to get real. I actually have to do stuff now.
Yeah. I mean, it's the reason I got my restricted license recently.
There we go.
Oh, let's go.
How long did you have your learner's license before
Like,
that?
I got in 2020 July, I think.
Oh, okay.
Not bad.
That's not
better
bad.
than most people. They
I mean,
usually have
I mean,
like 5 years.
I mean, people would have had it like 4 years before I.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like it just
Some
in
people
terms of,
wouldn't-
like age wise,
Mm.
like I got it when I was 20,
Yeah.
but people would have it like when they're like.
Yeah. That's
16,
why. That's
16,
why I'm
yeah.
like telling my sister when she's turning 16 this year. So
Okay.
I'm like, you better
Yeah.
get your
You
license.
better get your license.
Like
Better
for
get
my
it.
birthday present, I'm gonna buy you like
Buy-
get a
buy-
learner's
get-
test.
buy her a
pay
test.
for your
Yeah, pay for your
test.
learner's
Just
test.
bribe them straight away.
But do you
Yes.
want 17-year-olds driving by themselves on the road? Nah, I'm joking.
No, I
Not
feel
really.
like that's
Just
the
blame
first
on
step of
17-year-olds.
like being
Sorry,
like
17-year-olds.
and that's one thing I regretted as well. Is like,
Yeah.
like I should have like learned how to drive earlier
Mm.
because I missed out so many opportunities.
There's usually two types of people though, right? When they turn like 16 or the age where they can start taking the learner's test is usually you're like really excited
Yeah.
and immediately takes your learner test, or the other one's like, oh, I don't like driving. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna wait
was me.
as
Uber.
long as possible.
Yeah.
You
That
know?
was me.
Yeah. So, well, I'm glad that you got your restricted already now.
Yeah.
So that's cool. I mean, like,
Yeah.
is that a struggle, or is it one of those adulthood struggles?
Now, that's
struggles.
more like one of those adult things that people kind of expect you to do.
Yeah.
you know?
Maybe the struggle is just now you have to deal with people,
With
stupid
expectations.
stupid people on the road.
Yeah.
that's the adulthood struggle.
Yeah.
Oh
It's
my gosh.
or paying for gas,
Yeah.
Trying to not die.
trying to
on
not
the
die on
road.
the road.
Also, that's one of the things as well. You know, like taking responsibility as soon as you get your license, right?
Yeah.
Like you need to start maintaining the car.
Yeah.
You need to start
Yeah.
paying for gas. That's what I
Paying for gas.
experienced.
Yeah.
Because back then, I usually just, can I borrow the car? I ask my sister or my
You're just
parents.
like, yoink.
Can I borrow the car? And they just pay for the gas.
Oh,
But
yeah.
now I need to pay for the gas every single time. I need to even pay for like all the car maintenance
Yep.
and
Yeah.
insurance.
Yep.
And I need to be more
So
wary
much
of how I
money.
drive.
Yeah.
You know.
Don't you still have that saying? When you have your full, you can do whatever you want.
Okay.
Expose Pablo here.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't condone any stupid driving.
But when you have your full,
I think when he says stupid driving, I don't know. What do you mean by stupid driving?
Which is illegal.
illegal.
I mean, AKA West Aucklanders.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
welcome,
Just
welcome to
flaming
the,
us too.
Yeah.
welcome to the wild, wild west.
Yeah. So that's like one of the things of like struggles, right? There's
Adulthood.
gonna be more like once you reach a certain like milestone, there's gonna be more
Milestone.
responsibilities
Yeah.
coming out of that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Mm.
Is
It's
there?
like it's like once you get a job, right?
Yeah.
Now you gotta start paying your taxes. You need to budget correctly.
Yeah.
You need to start getting like what other things do we even?
Stop splurging on audio equipment.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Is that one of your struggles?
I'm talking to myself.
Is
here.
that?
Yeah, we got to be responsible with how we manage money, and got to be responsible with how we manage time and relationships.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, relationships.
and relationships
Oh
at
my
work and
goodness.
outside of work.
Yeah.
That's
Bro.
that's the struggle that I had.
Yeah, same.
Because you two are actually, what was it, coworkers?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, we are coworkers.
You're coworkers, and you've started your job
Around
actually
the
this
same
year.
time.
Same
Yeah.
time, early Feb. That was a really
Yeah.
good time. I actually referred Vincent.
Yeah. I was like,
Yeah.
Pablo, come.
As much as we meme on Pablo. Pablo's actually one of the more like the more mature ones out there.
No, I'm not.
he actually like sometimes like he
He's
actually
the most put together.
yeah, because he like sometimes checks up on us like, oh bro, have you done your taxes? Or it's like or he goes like, yo, I know the deals. You should do this, and then you'll save more money, kind of thing.
Oh,
You
so
know.
is that what an adult is? Bargain
Like
hunter.
just being
a bargain hunter.
a bargain hunter. I mean, that shows that
Oh,
you're
that's
smart
part of
with
it.
your money.
That's part of it.
Yeah.
You're like,
I think it's just like going from that, trying to take responsibility for stuff. It's also like being able to use that maturity to actually also help others as well.
Mm.
That's another mark of adulthood that I've seen. That's why I pointed Pablo when he's like, yeah, like you sometimes like check up on people. Fun fact, he's the one that taught me how to drive as well.
Yo.
Yeah, he's like giving like, what was it?
Blaming you when he doesn't have a seatbelt on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He does this thing where it's like I go into the car and then I start the car up and then what was it? Pablo just looks at me like expectantly and I'm just like, what? And he's like, oh no, keep going. And I turn on the car and I put on my seatbelt. Expecting him also to put on a seatbelt. So I put on my seatbelt, I start like reversing the car, and then Pablo looks at me and goes, "Oh, you failed." And I'm like, why? And he's like, "Oh, you didn't check if I had my seatbelt on."
Yeah. Hey, I'm just saying, this is safety for everyone.
I'm just saying.
See, those are the things, right? You get your own car. You need to be responsible for other people as well.
Yeah, I just say in the road code, you only need to be responsible for people who are under 14-year-olds and their seatbelts.
That's true. Okay, if we do get in a crash,
Yeah.
would you feel responsible that I died?
yeah.
Because I didn't have my seatbelt on. Even though I'm over 14.
Because
Wait, what?
that's on you.
Okay. I see. I'm not getting in your car then.
You crashing the car is on me. You're not putting on your seatbelt.
Yeah, that's your head, bro.
I'm just like, wait a minute, like I'm not like,
Okay, fair. I just kill me then.
kill me now.
Voluntary manslaughter.
Like he doesn't put on his seatbelt, and then he goes like, bro, do you even love me?
No,
Do you love?
I feel unloved.
I feel unloved.
Get out of the car. We might crash the car.
No, we might crash the car.
No, I'm saying this because I love you.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
Yeah, I think that's like one of the things, right? like there will be more stuff coming out of each responsibility that we get. You know,
I think like one of the things I don't know. I think the thing that I struggle with, and I know, and you can speak to this or like you can try to speak to this as well, is just this ideal where it's like just life just starts to speed up. You know? Like because it's one of those things where like the pace is a lot more high in terms of what you're doing, what you have, and again what you said, like what you have to keep track of, what you're responsible with, and it's just kind of like I like when I was a kid, I'm like, wow, why do like adults have like no energy to do anything?
Yeah.
and then like now that I'm here, I'm like, oh, I know why.
I know why now.
like it's because you have. Because what was it? Yesterday was a full day of work for me, and I had like other what was it? Not chores, but kind of errands. Yeah, responsibilities and errands to do. And I was like, when I came home, I was just like, wow, I just really just want to lay flat on my bed and then just sleep. And then I looked at the time, and I'm like, holy crap, it's only like 8 or 7, and I'm like, I feel as though my entire like
I'm
life,
about to shut down.
I'm about to shut down. It's because like just so much happens in such a rapid pace that you just can't keep up. And I'm like, I guess like since you're again transitioning to that kind of stuff, are you starting to feel that where it's just like, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to
I just basically tanked into that this year. It felt like it's just like responsibilities, everything.
Because
no
you're heavily
energy.
involved in church as well.
Yeah,
Right?
it's just like uni, ministry, something like student life, I have youth.
Oh,
This is all random terminology, by the way.
Yeah.
Just don't
Because
worry.
a lot of
Church.
Yeah, it got studies,
university
church,
clubs
relationships,
and yeah.
Oh,
like,
relationships.
a bunch of things just put together. It's just like, oh, no
Yeah.
energy.
Dude, that's the thing about relationships, right? I don't even know if I have the time for that these days. Like,
By the way,
that's-
Vincent is single, so
Oh my
he is 23.
he is 23. He's living in.
Oh my god.
My phone number is beep. 0229. But yeah, that's one thing I want to talk about is relationships. Like, how do you like even
Adulthood.
manage
And,
that, dude?
like,
In the context of
in the context of
adulthood?
adulthood, you mean?
yeah,
it's a
not just
str-
romantic, but like just general, like
Yeah.
just friendships.
It's definitely so much harder. Like,
yeah.
I've heard, like, when I was little, I heard people talking about, like, planning time to spend with friends. It's like, oh, I need to plan, like, a 1-hour slot just to have coffee with someone. It's
Oh yeah,
like,
we're in the
what?
middle of that. I think
Yeah.
we're starting to see it even in our friend group as well.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like, well, we try to plan stuff in advance now. We have to do that
Yeah.
instead of just going like, oh, do you want to?
No spontaneous.
There's no
Spontaneous
spontaneous
hangouts
hangouts
anymore.
anymore.
People just
anymore.
have way too many things going
Yeah.
on.
And you miss that, right? When you're like in university, where
Yeah.
you can like you're after class, you can just go
It's
like,
like, yo,
Yo.
are you in campus?
and you're like, yeah, let's get some
Like,
food,
let's give
or
it
something. You know, like I miss that. But now it's just like, oh, let me see my schedule.
Yeah,
Let me-
And it's always like, nah.
that's exactly what happened. Like last night, my friend was like, "Yo, you want to go on a road trip next weekend?" I'm like, "Bro, let me check my schedule real quick." Oh wait, I'm fully packed
I'm
for
fully
next
packed.
week as well.
That's
Yeah.
the dream.
Yeah, and he's a
dude.
very spontaneous guy. He'll just be like, "Yo, Haps," like just out of nowhere. I'm just like,
Yeah.
"Bro."
And I think those people who are able to keep up with that, right?
Yeah.
Like even if they're like, because I know some people still that are adults and are still able to keep up this kind of energy
Yeah.
and being able to plan
Yeah,
as spontaneous as possible. And I guess like that's also that I want to kind of bring about as well. For me, one of the biggest things that I think is the biggest thing about adulthood was like organization, right? Where it's like you're able to, even with the hectic schedule, you're able to still set some free time for yourself or time to kind of recuperate and to recharge. I think for me, when I see that in like the friends that I have now who are also in adulthood, I'm just like, wow, I don't know how you're able to do that, you know? So it's just kind of like, that's so cool. Or that's a skill that I want to have.
Managing your capacities properly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. And it's like, you know, back onto like the relationships and adulthood and like kind of maintaining that, right? I think that's also why, like, I don't know, it's you have to pick and choose now a lot.
definitely.
You have to pick and choose. And I think it's like it sucks because like you can't, like when you're in university, you're like, oh yeah, I can just like even if you don't know him that well, you're like, oh yeah, let's go.
Let's hang. Be
Let's
friends
hang.
with everyone.
Yeah.
You also have
You
like,
want-
unlimited energy. It's like, if I want to do all this stuff, I could just pull in all night. Oh, I have
Yeah.
energy to
Unlimited
do this.
energy, but no money. But adulthood
Yeah.
is
Money,
unlimited money.
but
but
no energy.
What do I do with this money? That's why Pablo's just like
Saxophone.
saxophone. It's like, I'm so used to spending this on what was it, friends and stuff like that,
yeah.
or hangouts.
Yeah,
hey,
so yeah, picking and choosing now.
yeah. Do you for yourself? Do you have to now pick and choose a
Like,
lot for your friends and
I
your
think,
relationships?
yeah, I think it depends where your priorities lie as well. Because in terms of like time for games and stuff, like I remember like being even
Oh,
in
yeah.
first year
Oh,
of uni,
yeah.
like I had so much time just to play games.
Yeah.
And now it's like I have, like I still want to play games, but I still want to like hang out with friends, and usually like just having the like relationships do
Mm.
like trump that essentially. But it's like, oh, I want to play games now. I have like half an hour.
Can I
now.
squeeze in one game of Valorant?
Can I squeeze in one game? Oops, one of the other things went overtime. Now I can't play a
Now
game
I can't-
anymore.
Yeah.
the margin for error is so small now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be decreasingly going
It's
smaller and smaller.
Also, like
Yeah.
trying to manage your sleep is like the most like annoying thing because it's like, oh, I need this amount of sleep,
yeah.
but oh, maybe I'm gonna struggle to sleep tonight, or I'm gonna have to, spend extra time doing this thing. It's like, oh, now I have like 4 hours of sleep,
Yeah.
type of thing, and it's like I can't even like not do that. It's like I can't even push away the things that don't matter as much anymore because everything like matters now.
Yeah.
It's just
And like I think like sleep is one of those things that just creeps up on you. That like if you, because like when I was younger.
How old are you now?
I'm not actually that young. We're like the median age is like it's like
Where we need to
between-
refer to
the range.
when I was younger.
Yeah, like the range of our ages is between like 21 and like 20, 25.
yeah.
Or just like
there's
between
enough
in
where you
between
have
that.
to
So
specify now.
yeah, but basically like when you're in uni or when you're in high school, right? It's like you have so much energy, and that's also that's partly due as well just to the point where it's like, or to the fact that the tasks that you have to do doesn't really require a lot of like big mental energy to kind of do.
Yeah.
And like now that I'm older, right, and I'm like working full time, like I'm like if I go 4 hours of sleep, I am not gonna be able to like have enough brain power to function in my task kind of thing. And like back then I'm just like, oh yeah, 4 hours, it's like fine. It's like I'm just gonna be doing this stuff anyway. So it's not it's like, but then again, I'm not trying to like minimize like the workload that sometimes like students have to do in high school and stuff like that, or towards the
Looking
uni.
back, man, high school was kind of
That was easy.
It was
Yeah.
a joke.
So
Yeah.
it was
easy.
such a joke back,
Yeah.
but back then I was like, oh, I'm so scared.
But I mean, like there is like some validity to that, right? Because you're still there in that period of life. You do have like your own separate struggles, right? That like, which I understand, but I think comparatively, even with that context, it is a little bit more lighter, right? In the sense of like,
very
because
Nothing
like,
really mattered.
yeah,
at
for
that
sure,
point.
Yeah.
because like when
like even if you failed, if you can't get into uni, you just take foundations.
Yeah,
and,
'cause you have
and
a
get in uni.
and that's the biggest thing. You have a safety net.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing that like when you're going up. That's why you have more mental capacity to kind of like to be a bit more lax on it. But for me now, it's like, oh, if I don't perform well, these
fired.
things are
These
gonna
things
are gonna
happen.
trickle, and I'm gonna like actually it's gonna be bad overall for everybody.
It has greater
Including-
repercussions.
my
It has
job.
Yeah.
bigger
I can't eat.
consequences for you now.
Yeah, and it's just like that's why I'm like, oh, I have to like get my 8 hours of sleep, or just a big a large enough sleep for that. And yeah, so I completely agree with you on that. I feel like
Man.
it's like from the perspective of the three of us, right? Like from here, it's like, oh yeah, we're kind of living it. It's like when I look at this, I'm like, wow, this is just basically like this.
The dream life right now for us.
Or it's like it's starting. I can see it.
Yeah.
like I can see it start to creep up.
Oh my gosh.
And I mean, do you have any other like that? I guess for yourself that is specific to you.
Yeah.
Do you think?
What do you mean?
Like, is there a struggle that like
Is there anything? All right, let's talk about not struggles, but like anything that you're looking forwards, like looking forward towards.
Yeah.
or it's like like for
towards
you
adulthood.
specifically?
Because you're transitioning.
I think like I'm still really just a bit anxious about getting a job. Like a full-time, like proper big, like grindy job.
What are you
type of
working
thing.
towards right now? Towards your degree?
It's a Bachelor of Commerce and a Bachelor of Property conjoint.
Okay. Okay, dox yourself.
Plug.
Dox yourself.
I'm gonna.
He lives at
Can we bleep that out? Just like in post.
Yeah.
I realize
Yeah. you have legit people can just like just go through Felix, like who's
Felix?
all the Felixes.
Come be my
Yeah.
friend.
So that would be that's what you're looking
Yeah.
forward to.
Yeah, pretty much is my degree and then a job. But I do want to like start looking for an internship like now, and I said that like 2 months ago. So
2 months later, I want
Yeah.
to start looking for an internship
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. It's just I'm like not sure if I can uphold one with the current like commitments that I have.
Responsibilities that you
Yeah.
have right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm mostly worried about. Is like if I can even like be able to properly prioritize my internship like job, because the other things that I am involved with are quite important as well. Which is like, what do I do? Yeah, I don't know.
So basically, so like moving on from
Yeah,
from a person that now is that is transitioning to like, let's say now moving on to someone that's now in it. That
Okay.
it's actually like,
Yeah.
or would you classify that you're like in the thick of it right now, or are you still kind of?
I feel like the first time I felt like I was an adult was when
Oh.
I was like when I transferred like money to my parents to help out with rent and stuff
for sure.
and helping out with their expenses.
Yeah.
That's when I really felt like, bro, I'm an adult.
Okay. So you feel as though like, so now now that you're like a fully fledged adult,
Yeah.
is there some things that I guess for you specifically that you found kind of new in this stage of life, you know, like that you're struggling with? Not even struggling with, that you found like, oh, I didn't know I had to think about that kind of thing.
I guess choosing who to hang out with, I feel like.
So the same thing,
Yeah.
like
Relationship.
with them.
Relationships, definitely. I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of funny. When I was like a teenager, I was like, wait till uni, I'm gonna get into a relationship and stuff.
Yeah.
So that was my expectation of adulthood. And then now I'm still like,
You're still waiting.
I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting.
He's still-
it
he's still
was like
waiting.
it was a joke. It was like an inside joke with my high school friends. So they.
Well, what was
the
the inside
ones-
joke?
I was like, oh, wait till uni, bro. I'm gonna get into a relationship.
Gonna get into a relationship.
I see.
Relationship
I
equals
see.
adult. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that was my
Back then.
Back then,
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know, you're an
What
adult.
about now then?
Now I'm just like, bro,
Ain't no got time for that.
I ain't got no time for
I
that.
don't got the money for that as well.
I don't get money for that.
money, bro. Like,
You want us to go to dinner? Let's go to Macca's, brother.
That's expensive.
and it's
And it's getting smaller
It's
as
getting
well.
smaller and smaller.
Yeah.
My
No, I think I was
goodness.
the same as well with like Felix and Vincent. You know, just transitioning in, I got to start thinking about who to hang out with.
Mm.
So I legit had to make a list.
yeah.
Had to make a list.
Do you
Oh,
have
yeah.
that list?
I do not have that list with me right now.
But is it
but-
somewhere?
It is somewhere. But technically, I do have like inner friends. So obviously, I have my family, right?
Yeah.
Those are non-negotiable.
Yeah.
Non-negotiable.
Those are
Non-negotiable
non-negotiable.
friends.
Then I have my close friends.
Yeah.
And then I have my outer close
Your outer
friends.
Yeah.
And
Wait,
I-
what's your outer close friends? How do you define what an outer close friend is?
They're just outside, you know.
Just
Oh,
friends.
you know, like when I
Your
when
friends live outside.
No, no, no,
Yeah,
no.
yes,
When I mean
they're
by close
outside.
friends, like the ones I like talk to a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, like at least 3 times a week.
Yep.
You know.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then outer close friends, it's like
Yeah.
you do have this bond.
Okay.
But it's not as frequent because of the busyness of life.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you
Yeah.
have your friends that you still know them. You know,
Yeah.
you're chill terms with them.
Yeah.
And you have your acquaintance,
Yeah.
and you have like the other people.
And
outside.
the other
Just
people.
strangers.
Yeah, strangers.
The strangers.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I legit had to make a list and to see like where my priorities lie, because this is gonna be really hard once I start working.
Oh,
because
I do remember you doing that.
yeah.
Because we're on Discord and you're like, doing it as we were.
Were
on
you
Discord.
actually?
Yeah. I remember
Were you
this.
making the list?
Yeah, because time
Yeah.
is so essential right now.
Yeah, and also another thing about choosing who to
time.
hang out with is like who's like actually like impact like actually positively.
Impacting you. Like, who
Impacting you.
is building you up?
Building
who
you
is
up.
encouraging you?
Dang.
And if you just hang out with friends who just like you guys just not do anything, just
And you have to
mess
do the
around.
same thing as well.
Yeah,
You
of
have to
course.
encourage them as well. And you're having like this interdependent,
Yeah.
you know,
Interdependent?
interdependent impact on each other, you know.
Wow.
And I think that's like kind of how I chose some people as well.
Yeah, and that's
know.
that's not selfish.
definitely
That's
true.
actually like
Yeah.
you know like yeah.
It's quite interesting though. It's kind of like, what was it? It's almost as if you're putting them in a box. a
It
little
is
bit, right?
You
And-
basically are putting them in
yeah,
the box.
putting. But like, I think like for me, a little bit where it's because seasons change, right? Seasons change, and people like how I choose to what was it? Classify or not put them in boxes, but to see friends, it's more so kind of like I have my inner circle and then there's everybody else. Honestly, like I'm if anything, I'm a little bit more harsher on yours, where it's like I have my inner circle and then no one else, or everybody else is outer that. But that doesn't mean that like necessarily like because that I don't kind of that I don't invest in them if because they're out on my outer circle.
Oh yeah, of course.
Because I think it's kind of it's one of those things where I think in each season of your life or in each stage of your life, right? I think like you just meet people that are just there for that time of your life, right? For example, like if I go to my workplace and like I have my coworkers there, and like for that period of my life, that I've actually pretty close to them in that sense, in that close to them, and then but I'm okay with the idea where it's like okay, I enjoyed the time and I invested in that time and I had a really good time in our relationship. We connected on a deeper level, but it's also kind of like okay, let's move on and actually go into another stage of life, and then like have their own kind of thing. So I think like mine's a little bit more fluid in a sense. I'm not trying to trying to say that like your one's like oh your thesis on friends is bad kind of thing.
God.
But I think it's my conception of friends have changed a lot, or what relationships have changed.
I agree.
Yeah.
Back then it was like Facebook friends. Oh, we're friends.
Oh yes, they put a like on me. We must be best friends.
They reacted to my photo.
And they followed me
my
on
post.
IG. Oh, we're best friends.
Yay!
Oh my god.
And it's like so like from there, right? From this the artificially, it's like oh we're friends.
Yeah.
Like strictly like this
Digitally.
or that kind of stuff. Now I'm just kind of like if it goes somewhere, I'm gonna enjoy the ride and I'm gonna like invest time even to the point of like let's say what is it as close as my inner close friends in my inner circle, right? I can that's how much I can still invest in someone that's out on the outside.
Yeah.
But like take for example, like I have a friend of mine that legit we come out of like our caves to meet up with each other like once every like 3 months. But then every time we meet up on that it almost feels like there's that closeness was that artificial.
It was there the whole
It was never separated.
It was never
still there.
separated. And it's just kind of like that's why I just enjoy things as they come and go. Of course, but it's still important, and I think I still agree with you in terms of trying to still have friends that you choose, like that like actually you want to keep there all the time, you know, because that's the core that like keep that you're or like that I call them my safety net, so that when everything else kind of like kind of falls apart, then I can just keep going back to my core. Yeah.
No, that's true. Like there are seasons of life where we do have like these closeness with different people.
Yeah.
And I think like the most recent one, I was for my graduation ceremony.
Yeah.
I was talking to my best friend back in high school, and so one of my other friends, I was like, "Oh, is this guy your best friend?" And it was really hard for me just to say yes because he was my best friend in a different part of my life. He was a different time of my life. I just couldn't say yes during that time, so I just said, I was like, "Yeah, I think so."
You think so?
Yeah,
As you look at him, he's watching this now, and he's like,
no, I still love him. He's still a close friend. But that's just how life is right now.
Yeah, for sure.
That's so true.
Like we're still riding different waves of life, but the closeness is still there.
And I think that's a hard
reality
pill to swallow. Yeah, a hard reality to kind of realize is that like even like no one is I'm about to say like no one is safe or something. But it's more so kind of like that's how relationships or friendships are, and our connections with or just between human beings is just kind of like it really just is dependent on context. Cause like, which is why it makes sense, right? If you go into high school and you have like your gang that you're like you're really close friends, you're like,
ride or die.
Ride or die. we're gonna do that kind of stuff like, and it's like it.
And then what happens?
Yeah, and it's like what happens?
You
right?
die. You die. There's no more ride.
There's no ride. Oh my God.
You didn't put a seatbelt on. That's why.
You didn't put a seatbelt on. You didn't check if I had my seatbelt on.
You didn't check.
No, it's like oh my gosh, yeah. Is that our John Cook moment, bro?
Is that what you were saying?
It's I forgot what I was gonna say anyway. Where, I think it makes sense in that time, right? Yep. Oh yeah, I got it. Okay, so it makes sense in that time where why you would think it's like it's ride or die, because you see them every day.
You see them every day. You're in the same bubble.
Like you're like you can't help but think about it. Where you're like, oh my God,
you guys doing the same subjects, same
like,
struggles. Like,
because the thing with high school, right? Like it's a constant environment that you're going to for like 5 times a week. Yeah. And you guys are doing the same classes. You guys are probably
9 to 3.
Like 9 to 3, and you guys are probably like having the same struggle, like, what exam to do, what to eat for lunch, or I hope she has a crush on me, or like those sorts of things. But like once you get to university where you have more freedom, like your interests may not even
align.
Well.
Dude, that's something I realized as well.
Yeah.
With my old high school friends, it's always that one specific topic that we liked that brought us together in the first place. It's either like anime, because we have like anime club, or like K-pop, or like whatever. But then once everyone grows up, like those interests changes, and then it's like, oh wait, we have nothing to relate to.
Like intrinsically and personality wise.
It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay,
even
so now
even
what?
like between like us four, we like the overlap of our interests isn't like super.
Isn't that
prevalent.
yeah. Because like we have our own separate corners, like the weeb corner, which is like
it's more of us two, and then
Pablo comes in to say I like One Piece, and then it comes out
leaves.
again. Yeah,
and that's the movie,
and then the movie people over here.
I'm like the least.
Yeah. And then like we have
but the most important thing is like our interests are maybe a bit different, but we're all Christians. That's something that's
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 part of
that's a big
that is
part.
mainly like the personality and attitude that we have towards each other.
And sorry.
Now you go.
I think then just on that, right? On that topic of it's like, even though of kind of interest binding us together, I think a mark of actually a really close friendship is when you're like, even if there wasn't any interest, you still have a closeness. That like
there's that bond.
There's that bond that like
it's hard to explain.
It's hard, and it's like when you find those people, that's when you're like,
ride or die.
That's
ride or die.
That's when it's actually ride or die. We're gonna go for the long run, baby. And like for sure, because like that's like, and that's the mark of going into high school, right? Or like going into adulthood is when most of the time the people that we still hang out with in our adulthood life have different lives and have moved on to different interests, like specifically their jobs for sure. You're not necessarily going to be co-workers.
Pablo changing interests every 5
Yeah,
seconds.
yeah.
Try
Or
not to change interest
try not to
challenge.
change challenge. But it's just kind of like that one, and also just kind of different stage of life and how they matured, right? Because like in high school, you grew up together, as Pablo has
Probably
mentioned.
lived around the same area.
Yeah,
as
they
well.
lived through the same area, and also just like went through the same struggles. But when you're in adulthood, you're now separate in terms of your growth, right? Because like how I grew in my career is a lot different, and it changed me and how I view things. And then for you guys, like the two of you, as same deal. But it's like that's when you find those real connections. Is that when you can be so far apart, have different stages of life, but then come back and actually still have a closeness. And I think that's like important to have. And I guess one of the biggest things that I found was being more of an adult now, you know? But yeah, I think for yourself, right, Vincent, in terms of how did you kind of reconcile with the fact of like, oh yeah, like people come and go, and then you're just kind of like, oh, goodbye.
Yeah,
and
they hate me.
or just that kind of stuff. And like, where are you now, and how do you view like? What was it?
Yeah, back then I was like, I was like really hung up on that. I was like,
But I guess like now, how would you?
Like, I was actually from John who said that people will disappoint you.
Yeah.
Like people will disappoint you, and you should never put too much expectation on others. And then I was like,
I think a lot of people
that really changed my outlook. But now I'm just like, okay, if they go, like, bye.
Yeah.
You know, I have this. I still have the safety net.
You still have a safety net,
Yeah.
but you have this peace now.
I have this peace, like knowing that okay, if they go, they go. But it's not like on big bad terms anyway. It's just like they have, like,
it's just different stages of life kind of thing.
Like actually, I during it was Jerry's graduation. I saw this old high school friend of mine, the high school group of friends that I always talked about, how we kind of grew apart and stuff. She was at around the same place as well for her brother's graduation.
Oh yeah,
and
you
then,
met her?
Yeah, and then we talked for like a long ass time. Like,
Oh,
it was,
okay.
like 30 minutes or something.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was a good conversation, and then
Spontaneous.
it was really spontaneous as well. And then I messaged her afterwards. I was like, "Hey, you wanna like catch up again sometimes?"
Okay.
And then, she hasn't responded since then. So I was like, "Okay, like."
Well, different stage of life. You have this
different
peace
stage of
now.
life.
But if they come and go later.
Yeah, but like back then would be like, no, dude, they hate me. But now I'm just like, oh,
You shot, and then it's just
yeah. And now I'm just like, okay, if she's keen, she's keen. But if she's
my
not keen,
goodness.
like,
Bruh. Wow.
have a good life.
Yeah.
Sort of thing,
And that's the thing with adulthood as well. We got to manage our emotions and
it was
expectations of other people.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. Man, I want to ask more about the girl, but I'm not gonna.
Probably
There'll be a time and place for that.
So back then, if that thing were to happen again, like if a girl were to, or even just someone just like read your message and didn't respond, you would react in a way of just like, oh, you know, they hate me.
Yeah,
my
but now
my life sucks.
Yeah.
But now it's just like, you know what? So what? They
Yeah.
come and go. You know, you have your safety net.
Yeah.
Unless you're.
Because back then I didn't feel like I had that safety net.
Okay.
That's why.
Unless
now-
you're in what was it? You're in the inner circle, because Vincent still, when I see his message and I seen his message, he like gives me like lots of gifts of just like, bro, are we even friends? I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm just like,
What the heck?
Really, that's the thing about you. It's like you're really bad at like replying.
I am really bad at replying. Like,
and I kind of got used to it. I'm like, okay, just
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
two
That's just
things.
him.
Don't
That's
worry,
just me.
same.
yeah,
You know,
And
like,
I feel like
like,
yeah.
even Felix, it takes a long time.
Like he
Oh my
sees
gosh.
the message,
Yeah.
and then like after a few days, like he, like,
I got
replies.
secondhand kind of like, I know how you guys feel when I message Felix, and then after that, usually what happens, right, when I message Felix and I don't get back, I check either your message string or your one. So I'm just like, did I see them? Because I'm just like, I feel bad now because I'm just like, is this how they feel? Like,
I mean, back then I would be like, damn, you guys, but now I'm just like, okay.
yeah, I think, but that's the biggest thing as well. That's another thing, is that when you're in high school, you message and you're like talking back and forth.
Constantly, yeah.
This I was about to say dichotomy. I'm not gonna say dichotomy. And this kind of this back and forth, right? This back and forth was a lot more kind of it reveals more than it should because like for us, right, when high school, it's like, oh, when someone doesn't reply in like 20 minutes,
they hate you.
they
They hate
She
you.
probably doesn't like me.
yeah, or
like
something like
you.
that. And like for me, I was
I
also
got friend zoned.
You're in a
Yeah.
friend zone. 20 minutes later, they're doing an exam.
yeah, and I was like that, and I was like that as well, you know,
Yeah.
and I was like that as well. And then
Yeah.
like in adulthood, that's the same thing. The same thing where it's just kind of like I'm like, oh, they're now my first inclination's like, oh, they're probably busy with something.
Yeah.
And like that's why. Okay, I don't know how you guys feel about this, but how do you guys feel about like? I like calling better now than messaging.
Oh yeah, that's a Tim thing as well. He likes calling.
He likes
people.
calling people.
Yeah, I like calling people.
At first, I was like, "Why are you calling me? Just message me."
He's just like he calls me. He's like, when I have lunch, I'm just like,
No, legit, like something that can be communicated over text. He'll like call you, and then I'm like,
I think it's just kind of like to for me, I want to have that instant back and forth, right?
Yeah,
because
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like if you and not because I said, oh, I need that
Answer now.
I need the answer now. It's more so kind of like let's make it easier logistically for
us.
for us planning so that we know what is happening, right? Or cause I just like that better because like I hate just kind of sending a message and I'm just like when you're planning something, you message and then you have to in the back of your mind again because you have like other stuff going on, right? And you have other plans and you're like you have to save a part of your brain to go like, okay, there might be a chance that he says yes and then we have to go and we have to make a plan.
Yeah.
And if it's no, then I need to like pivot. So I'm just like I'm just gonna call him. Like
it's easier. If you get an answer now, you don't need to think about like the other things in your head. you know?
Yeah, for sure. But like, yeah, I'm a caller. I'm for sure a caller.
I mean, in the context of like needing to plan things like a week in advance with friends now, it's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like,
Yeah. You gotta have to call. But on the another note, I actually do just call for just the lulz as well. Like, I sometimes call Vincent. I'm like, yo, what's up, bro? What are you doing? And he's like, oh, I'm in the gym. And I'm like, oh, cool. Hangs up. like that kind of. Or I call. I mean, I try to call Felix, and it's always leave a voicemail. I'm just like, well, that's not happening. Honestly, the most responsive is probably Pablo.
Yeah.
Like, it's just for everything as well. Just like message, call, he's always available. And I'm just like, oh, this is cool.
Bro, ride or die, bro.
Ride or die, bro. Ride or die.
Inner circle, you know?
It was, yeah, I think that's it. Like the main theme of it is just for your logistical purposes,
I literally
right?
missed calls from my parents and stuff, and I messaged them a few hours later.
Oh, I think
maybe it's not ideal, but
yeah. Or we start thinking like, what was it? Things in a more logistical way.
But it was easier for everyone.
Yeah, so it's easier for everyone. Like, and that's like for what was it? Another thing that adulthood does to you.
Yeah.
It's just like I'm just like
don't waste time, bro.
Yeah,
exactly.
No, because you already have like the stressors of life. You have the stressors of work, other responsibility, and it's just easier for everyone.
It is easier for everyone.
You know, less admin.
That's admin for sure. Yeah. So basically, yeah. Now moving on to Pablo here, right? It's like you've already had a lot of things to say in terms of how adulthood has impacted you, and it just like in your little kind of interjections as well. But like, I guess for you, what was the biggest thing, that you found interesting about adulthood life that you're going through?
I think like the biggest thing is managing relationships.
Oh,
you know,
so same thing.
it's the same. It's the
Yeah,
same thing. That was the main thing. You know, because obviously I'm still with my family, and I'm still with like you guys, like my main friends.
Yeah.
And then now that I'm with like someone else now, you know,
Shout outs to
shout out
can't
to
say.
who lives in
I'm with someone. So there's like 3 different avenues. Actually, not even 3. There's like 4 different
I relate.
avenues. You know, and there's like so many things that you just need to manage, and that's like it takes a lot of intentionality. That's one of the main things that I never had during high school, because like what I was saying before, you know, you're just there.
forced together.
You're forced to be together. You're forced to have that interaction with each other.
Yeah.
You know, and you're just building off of what's thrown at you.
Yeah.
But now that you are kind of transitioning to that adulthood phase, you need to throw stuff at them. You need to be more intentional with how your relationships go.
It does make it more like meaningful, right?
Yeah, it's way more meaningful, especially when you actually take the time just to be together, just to be with like your family, your friends, that special someone as well, and your friends as well.
You would enjoy the like cherish that time.
Yeah,
a lot more. And then if you're just like, oh, I happen to be here.
Yeah, yeah. Because I think back then I didn't really value any of this. I didn't really value any of the time spent with like the boys back in high school. It was just like whatever happens.
Yeah. Oh man, I think like just from what you just said, right? It's like valuing the time that you have. Like I used to think when in high school when I was gonna go out with my friends, I have to have like a task.
You need to do something.
I need to do something. So it's like either we have to go bowling, we have to do this, we have to play laser tag or whatever, or that kind of stuff
with limited money.
Limited money that you have, and then like
spend all of it.
Yeah. and then now, right? It's just like I am completely content with staying in a room with like a tea,
dude,
and then I'm just like across you.
Our hangs at our house.
Yeah,
we literally sat in my room just guessing anime songs.
Songs for 3 hours, and to this day, it was 3 hours well spent, baby. Let's go. So good. It was like, and then like those things, right? It's just sometimes you value just being.
Literally existing next to
just being.
I stand.
The state of existence.
Yeah, just existing
to each other.
Like I think during like back then, like you need to be doing something with your friends to have a good time.
No, because I hate silence as well back then.
Yeah,
if you're just sitting there, not doing anything. like even with during my calls with you on Discord, sometimes we don't even talk.
Yeah,
much.
sometimes we just don't talk at all.
Back then, I'll be like, bro, why aren't you doing anything? Say something, bro.
I would just screen share what I'm doing, and he doesn't even need to watch. I just care. I'm just happy that he's there.
Yeah. But back then, I'll be like, bro, say something, man.
Yeah,
do something. Like, and it's uncomfortable.
And that's what this podcast is at the core of it, right? It's just like just being in each other's presence and just kind of talking about random stuff.
Yeah,
it's something like I value this much more than like actually going and playing. I don't know, playing
or going on game. Like those adventure
going
stuff
adventure stuff or something like that. Like this is something mundane, and then. I think that's for me as well. It's just you definitely value that time, and I guess like. Bouncing off that, what was like if you could what would be ideal now for you? An ideal day out with a friend for you.
An ideal day out.
Honestly, doing this.
No, like doing something like this.
Okay.
And I think just catching up over food. I love food. I mean, everyone does because they have to live off of it. So
there's different degrees of
love for food.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
but I guess it's just like the mundane things.
Yeah.
Where you get to learn more about this person because that's essentially what like a relationship is, right? With someone.
We're just doing life.
Yeah, just doing life together, and just learning off of them in the mundane things.
We had I had one I remember this one day very vividly when Pablo came in to help me move rooms.
Oh,
that was the entire day of me.
This is stuff that happens.
Yeah, of like
this is stuff that
him happens. from this room that we're in to another to another one. Because this used to be my bedroom. So like just that. It's such a mundane thing, right? But we just like
that was such a fun.
It was fun because it's like looking at. Oh man, this makes me just sound like like it was so weird. It's just like seeing a room empty.
Yeah,
and you're just like. Whoa, it's empty.
So cool.
You're like, it's so cool. And then what was it?
The desk we were trying to like fix.
Yeah. And then the vacuum.
Oh yeah, the vacuum.
And then we because we had what was it? Yeah. We haven't seen this room empty before.
Yeah.
And then in the corners it's like lots of like dust and stuff like that. So what we do is like we're vacuuming and then we see like a really huge pile, and then I'm like about to go, and then Pablo's like, wait. I'm like, what's up? And he's like, save that for last. It's like it will look so good when we.
Well, the satisfaction factor.
Yeah, when we clean that part, it's like, don't worry. We got that, and then we take turns.
That's
like
the motivation.
You go.
Vacuum that, you're finished.
You finish,
and it's a
Yeah.
satisfying.
Exactly.
finish.
And then I
sure.
think afterwards we went to Kmart and we just bought random stuff.
Yeah.
I bought like a skipping rope. And
Oh my god! I
bought-
want to do
Oh no!
this.
And then Tim bought a frame that does not fit the actual poster.
Yeah, it doesn't fit the actual poster. That
It's
was
just those things, like
yeah.
the mundane stuff where you just like enjoy
yeah, it's
life
right over
together.
there. Actually. Yeah.
So
for
I think
sure.
like once you like transition more into adulthood, you start to value like these small things.
yeah, and you
Yeah,
appreciate those things
Yeah,
a lot
you
more.
appreciate
You
those
know,
things
like
much.
those things that we take for granted. You know, just the fact of like cleaning a room and just being like, oh, wow. This
Wow.
was dirty and now,
Now
it's clean. And it's like people think like
That's amazing.
that sounds so boring. And I'm just like, have you tried it? Like, it's so satisfying. But yeah, I think like that's like so and then again like going further than that, I guess like would you say that like in terms of the mundane and stuff like that, do you I guess want to I don't know how to encapsulate these words. I guess like do you mind if like let's say now if people keep asking you, it's like, oh, do you want me, can you help me do this stuff, and you're just like, yeah, I wanna
No, I'm still keen for it. Like obviously with like thought into it. Like if I'm really busy.
yeah
But if it's something like quick that can be easily done, then I'll go for it.
Pablo offering to drop me off.
Oh, true.
Wink.
Yeah, it's just like those small things, like even going on a drive, dropping someone off.
Yeah, it's like
You
it's
know?
like you're more and that was the kind of thing. Yeah, I couldn't find words to it, but just that feeling of just like, oh yeah, like I'm willing to now just like in the things that you thought were like boring, or even hassle. Like it's like a hassle to do that. Now
like
you
a
just kind of go
chore.
like, oh,
Yeah.
it's like
Because
I
people
enjoy those
think,
things.
you know, to have fun, you need to do like those flamboyant things.
Yeah.
You gotta do, oh yeah, you know, going out on like these massive hikes. You gotta go out on these adventures.
Yeah.
Trips.
But like people think that's life. But
Japan.
these mundane things are also part of life. You know,
No,
like
these
they-
are more part of life. Like
these-
the mundane.
yeah, this is the actual slice of
Yeah.
life.
What's
know?
one thing that you found in before entering adulthood that you just hated, but now you're just like, oh yeah, I would do that actually, like on my off days kind of thing.
That's actually a pretty good question. Now I think what I enjoyed is actually cleaning now.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh, yes.
Like cleaning, like admin wise, like my room. I love to clean it now.
I procrastinate by cleaning.
No, legit. You know, and even with my computer, back then I used to hate absolutely just cleaning everything. Now I love to store things.
Yeah.
I actually have like that was like part of my job as well. Like actually
Yeah.
creating like a structure for people to find things.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like somehow
system.
I enjoyed it for some reason.
Yeah.
And now I'm doing it at home. I'm like, back
Yeah.
then if I do something like this, you know, snooze.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. The biggest thing was for me was that you start looking at furniture.
Oh yeah,
my
furniture.
gosh,
Like
yes.
disc, looking
start
at
looking
disc.
at-
You start looking
Yeah.
at all the
You
things
start
you
looking
never
at-
think
yeah,
of
yeah.
ever
Chairs?
buying.
You
think
Chairs?
Of, you think of like composition of your room and like it's like
Yes.
it's like ooh, it's rich mahogany. Like, like it's like but like
I'm measuring the dimensions of my
Yeah,
room,
yeah.
looking
Yeah.
at the
Yeah, yeah.
desk. It's like, how's it gonna fit?
yeah. It's like ooh, it would if I put this in, it would make the room pop. Or that kind of thing. It's just
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like I can't believe now I'm just going into shops and going like, ooh, this shelf would look
would
good.
look good.
It's like I can actually organize a lot of
That's
stuff.
a nice
here.
accent to it.
Yeah,
you know?
I was like acoustically treating my room. I
Yeah,
was looking
yeah,
at the
yeah.
different types of fabrics. Like, oh, this color is
Ooh,
nice.
you know?
Oh, this one's
Yeah.
for sure, and it's those things, you know. And I guess that's the main it's you lose, and from all our stories, right, is this kind of you lose it's kind of like you've kind of blossomed or changed into a different, or all your parties is reversed now. Basically, what you would think to be mundane, now it's something that you enjoy, and what you think that was important for you now is just kind of like, I don't care.
It's like a caterpillar.
Yeah.
Caterpillar.
And
you're going. It's blossoming.
Yeah, and it's just that ultimately I would, and like I guess to encapsulate all of this, right? Because I don't even think we need to go to me because I've already kind of just like jumped off from all of your conversations. But like if I could kind of put this conversation in a tight bow, is this kind of like the real struggle is not necessarily these little things, right? Like relationships or something, even though they are still, but kind of like what encapsulates all of it, or the core of everything, is just adapting to change.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of that's the biggest, if not, that's the biggest struggle.
That is the biggest. If you fail to adapt, then you're gonna have a hard time.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing. But yeah, I think that was pretty fruitful. I think that was that was a big
deep.
That was a big like jump from John Cook to man, I don't have relationships anymore. I'm getting older. People hate me.
That's why I need this massage gun, by the way, because all my joints are just like
there was
hurting
no
now.
actual reason why that wasn't here.
Yeah. So this is a massage gun. I don't know why Pablo brought it today.
What? He's trying to show off that he worked out today, you know?
No, I worked out yesterday. It's just like these small things, right? It's legit these small things. Like back then, if I was a kid, I would not want this.
ASMR?
You know, I would want something else. I would want like a Lego toy. I would want like a new PlayStation.
No, you're like, this chair is good.
Yeah, this chair is so ergonomic.
It is. Wait,
Yeah.
I don't know if you can hear it. Okay.
Yeah.
It's like it's things that
Yeah.
you wouldn't think of buying, but now you're just like, this is the best purchase I've ever bought. Or
One item I
buying
cannot
a
live
Dyson
without.
vacuum cleaner is just like,
Yeah.
ooh.
cordless vacuum.
Cordless vacuum cleaner.
The watts
Man.
on the
Okay,
Yeah.
since we're in the 20s, right? 20s now. Imagine what would you think your 30s would be in terms of adulthood? And
I feel like
Whoa.
it'd
That's
actually
nice thought.
settle down a little bit more.
Yeah, I think settle down.
Yeah.
I think have an actual place.
like
Yeah.
hearing about
With a
like
wife.
my brother's
Hmm.
like life, because he's 30 now.
yeah.
It's very just like actually slows down, but you're doing kind of the same things.
Yeah.
But it's also like exciting in its own way, I guess.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like in what way?
I mean, he just got married recently. But just like the nature of their work, I guess. I don't know. It's just
I think it. Oh man, just like I think it would be so cool because like this is recorded, right? Like just so to kind of revisit.
We're gonna look
It's
back
like
at
this would be like
like
we could call this like a time capsule episode where it's just kind of like, because we have, you know, we had our conceptions of what we think adulthood is. And like, you know, we're as much as like we meme, we're just like, oh, we're so old. Like we're not actually that old.
We're really not.
We're just
we're
really,
so young.
we're still pretty young in
they
terms
say
of
that 30s the new 20, you
but
know?
comparatively from like high school, we are old.
Yeah, we are
We're,
pretty
we're,
old.
we're
Yeah,
still
yeah.
about a quarter of our lifespan,
Yeah.
right?
And like we, of course, we're still developing in our own thinking and trying to think about how to get through life and how we see things.
Yeah.
And it would be really cool if we 30 years back, you know, 30 years back, 30 years, or when we're 30,
And when we're 30.
like do you think we'll still do the podcast?
Are
by
we
this
even
point?
friends during that time?
Are we even
Oh,
friends?
questions.
Because I've always said
Wow.
about season life, right? It's definitely gonna change.
Oof, yeah,
I
that's
think
true.
It's
Is it
still
real?
possible to uphold. It
No,
might
it's
not
still-
be as
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah.
To do stuff like this.
Yeah.
I think where do you guys see yourself in 30?
Probably not in New Zealand.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah, because
I feel
Okay.
like I still see myself in New Zealand.
Yeah.
One of the things that we talk about was me, Vincent, and Pablo. We're just like, we just want to move to Canada.
Move to Canada.
Oh my God.
That's
My
just how it is.
brother
It's
even
just how
said
it
that,
is.
and now he's still in New Zealand.
And now we're still
Yeah.
in New Zealand, and you know, who knows? And I think like, I mean, hopefully, right? Like my hope is that, again, like no matter what stage of season you're in or the people that you meet, right? You can still go back to. That's why, like, you know, in the words of Dominic Toretto from Fast and Furious, you know, it's all about family. It's all about family. It's all about family.
It's about family.
I mean, like, aside from family is always going to be there. But I mean, I hope that, like, in a couple more years, we can just look back. Maybe not in this room, but maybe like going, like, actually, like, just revisit and actually talk about how we've changed and stuff like that.
In Vincent's Canadian condo.
In Vincent's Canadian condo.
Where he's like a millionaire.
And Felix is visiting because he didn't want to.
Why am I a millionaire? Wait, what?
You know,
Bro, your vision board.
Oh my god.
20K per month.
You're making a challenge to reference every other episode.
My.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. We're going to make like a cinematic universe.
Oh yeah.
Like,
oh my god.
But yeah, I think no, I hope so. I hope we can still catch up and be as close knit as we are now. But yeah, I think and on that note, do you guys have? I was gonna say, like, oh, do you want to look into the camera and then, like, say something to your 30-year-old self?
You better have 10
something.
children.
At least get married, bro.
I'm joking.
At least get married.
Oh my gosh.
Have a girlfriend. You know?
For people who are still here, but like who are not aware. Yeah, what was it, Vincent? Vincent's just
Vincent
like
wants a girlfriend.
Just say it blatantly like that.
No, that's not just me, but my parents are like, they've been
Oh my.
like.
That's just Asian parents.
Asian
dude.
parents.
No, but
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
the thing. Like, in high school, they're like, no dating till college.
No dating till marriage.
No dating till
And
marriage.
then college
hand
hits,
holding,
win,
no
marriage.
hand holding.
Win, baby.
No direct contact. No direct eye contact.
I'm like, bro, you can't expect me to
No,
not
why?
have experience at all, and then suddenly expect me to have all the experience in the world. Like,
No wife until grandchildren. Okay. I don't even know how to end this now.
Yeah.
It's just kind of
Just thanks for coming.
yeah. That
Thanks
that
for
was
listening.
weird.
Thanks for listening, friends.
That was I think trying to kind of end this nicely, I guess. Yeah, that was our thoughts on what was it, adulthood struggles.
And it's basically like
Yeah.
90% about relationships.
90% about relationships and friendships.
It is.
That's
Yeah.
what it is.
Holding relation.
Yeah.
Well,
Maintaining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was.
relationships.
I think it was interesting seeing just kind of going around the table from, like, what was it, like someone who's about to or transitioning into to see more of those struggles to like progressively like us who's kind of been in it for a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that was a good question. Thank you. What was it? Who's it?
Ray.
Oh, thank you,
Ray.
Ray, for
Ray
suggesting.
Chow.
Ray.
You'll get your
Ray.
$10 soon.
Get your $10
From Vincent Lay.
Okay, bro,
Who
okay.
lives at me?
we shipping $2.50. Nice.
All right.
But yeah, for sure keep the questions coming.
Yeah.
I think
Some guys suggested we should talk about political things.
We're not too
Uh,
versed in that.
we're not true.
I don't even know who
Unless
the
you want
government
us
is
to
right
get
now.
cancelled
Yeah.
instantly.
Who's the government right now?
Yeah. What was it? Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson for president.
It's all about power. It's about
It's all about power. It's all about drive.
But
Yeah, we're not well versed in that. But yeah, for sure. What was it? Recommend some questions. Like,
Stuff to talk
are you
about.
still doing the $10 thing? Like every
only
single
to
week?
the most interesting topics. It's not like everyone gets
Ray,
$10
he
for suggesting.
thinks your topic wasn't interesting enough.
No, because someone else got a better topic suggestion.
Well,
okay.
Next
Oh.
time.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Yeah.
For
Why was
political?
this one selected?
Yeah.
Political.
Cause
Because it's the most interesting. That's why.
no,
Yeah,
cause
but
it was-
anyway-
Ray said it?
Yeah.
no, because it was just something that was there. Because we didn't prepare. I didn't prepare.
Ah,
anything.
okay.
It's just like I looked
Okay.
at the
But
But
list,
then
I'm like,
isn't
oh,
that
okay.
the most interesting?
Yeah. Yeah, but
No, the
anyways.
interesting was the your failed dreams.
Ray, I got you. I'll get you bubble tea.
the
Number one
feelings
fan.
about this.
Number one fan.
Yeah.
All good. Well, anyways, we don't have an outro. That's okay. We'll come up. With,
I think that's the outro.
Let's just cut it there.